Congratulations on making it to the State Plate Championship Finals. When you're lying in bed and just can't fall asleep, and happen to scroll to Xiao Fu's wilderness building episode, then you've hit the jackpot once again. Today, I'm guessing you guys' phone battery is at 66% or so. If I guessed right, make some noise in the comments. If I guessed wrong, take a screenshot and post it in the comments section. Now, please put your left foot on your neck. Next, let's get straight into today's main topic. The snow in the Frelgud hasn't stopped falling. Riven is already hurrying forward with his dog. The snowflakes cover every inch of the branches in the treetops. The dark brown pine trees stand straight, holding up the pale white sky. His busy feet, stepping into the snow, make a crisp sound, which, with the occasional sound of snapping twigs in the distance, to compose a winter chapter unique to this snowy field. Riven stops under two sturdy red pine trees, preparing to build another shelter for him to spend the night. So he immediately puts down his backpack and sets off with a saw. The branches crushed by the snowstorm not far away are his material of choice. He plans to cut them up nearby and carry them back. Meanwhile, the dog happily plays in the snow nearby. Don't be fooled by Riven's seemingly small frame. He is not sloppy at all when it comes to work. In just 2.5 hours, he chopped a huge pile of wood. First, he uses wild hemp rope to measure the dimensions, and then he can start processing the wood. Once the length is right, he wedges them firmly between the tree trunks. This way, he can quickly build a wall without any nails. Even if there's a slight deviation, wood chips can be used to fix it. The sound of knocking is especially clear on the silent, snowy field. The occasional falling snowflakes seem to be playing a duet with him. Before long, Riven has finished building the entire wall, while the puppy excitedly helps him dig a foundation pit nearby. Once the depth is right, he plants the prepared pillars into it. Then he installs 2 crossbeams and secures them with wild hemp rope. Thus, the sturdiest bed base is created. The subsequent bedboards require longer wood, so he takes the dog nearby again to collect some. The faint winter sunlight shines through the treetops, casting dappled spots of light on the branches, adding a bit of warmth to this silvery white world. Soon, Riven brings back many straight wooden sticks. By simply laying them on the base, one by one, it becomes a 5-star bed. He and the dog tested it out, and were very satisfied. The wall on the other side needs to be slightly shorter, so it can form a single sloped roof. First, use the same method to secure the bottom pillars. Then cut out mortises at the right positions on the crossbeams. Once aligned and tight, use a hand drill to make deep holes, and drive the sharpened wooden pegs through the holes to secure them firmly. The entire structure instantly becomes as solid as a rock. Then, the logs can be wedged into the frame, one by one. After finishing, Riven sat on it and shook it a bit. After confirming it's stable, he continues laying upwards. First, put on the slanted crossbeams. Then install the pillars, and the gable takes shape. The other side is built in the same way. With the dog's help, efficiency has improved a lot. He builds it in no time. Next, he can start filling the gable walls. He uses shorter logs to stack them up, one by one. This segmented structure saves him a lot of effort. After finishing, he feels the floor inside is a bit muddy, so he plans to get some materials to make a simple floor. The dry bark of the red pine is a good choice. It can be easily peeled off with just a little force. In a short while, he piles up a small mound. Returning to the shelter, he lays it out bit by bit along the ground, with the edges overlapping to form a natural waterproof layer. The originally muddy ground instantly becomes dry and clean, and even carries a faint pine scent. Having finished the floor, it's time to deal with the roof. He brings over the sturdy logs prepared earlier, cuts out the mortises, and lays them evenly on the slanted frame, as if covering the shelter with a thick skeleton. He intentionally leaves a little gap in the middle, then uses 2 pieces of wood to tie together a bottom support, and lays logs of different lengths on top, to leave room for a smoke exhaust hole. Halfway through, it starts to snow again in the jungle. Before long, the newly built roof is dyed pure white. Considering the large gaps between the logs lets some wind in, Riven plans to get some moss to seal it. Just roll it into small clumps with your hands, and stuff it into the gaps between the logs. This not only blocks the wind and rain, but also improves the appearance. After filling, he covers it with a layer of pine bark for reinforcement. This way, even if it rains later, it won't be a big problem. The remaining moss shouldn't be wasted either. It's quite perfect to just build it directly into the front wall. As for the door, Riven also has his own way. He first drills suitable holes in the upper and lower frames. This way, inserting sharpened wooden sticks creates door hinges. After ensuring the door frame size is fine, he can use thin wooden sticks and wild hemp rope to weave the door panel. Once installed, it can protect the cabin. The gaps in the door panel are also filled with moss. Tightly, opening and closing it has just the right amount of dampening. It won't be too loose and let the wind in, nor will it be too tight and hard to open or close. At this point, only the surrounding walls still need to be sealed. Although his fingers are a bit red from the freezing cold, he still maintains plenty of patience, as if putting on warm green armor for this cabin. Before long, the main body of the cabin is initially completed. Riven brings a camping light and hangs it in the corner, and the orange light instantly fills the atmosphere. And these leftover woods from building the wall don't need to be wasted either. Just tie them with wild hemp rope, and they become sturdy wooden stools. After finishing, Riven hurries to move in with his dog. Spreading a blanket on the thick bedboards makes it a Wilderness Simmons mattress, and the newly made wooden stool becomes the dog's exclusive seat. After a hard day's work, his body is already numb from the cold. He must assemble and ignite the fireplace as soon as possible. Only the scorching flames can give a sufficient sense of security as the blue smoke slowly rises from the exhaust hole. Riven has finally gained a firm foothold in the jungle. Hey, your telescopic blowpipe is not bad. Can I borrow it to play for a bit? Next comes the most exciting dinner time. Riven first cooks a pot of the dog's favorite chicken breast. Once he's full, Riven starts preparing his own feast. Fresh beef is cut into even small pieces, and then pan-fried. While waiting, add some chili peppers as a side dish. At this time, he is also surprised to find that there is actually a small green pepper inside the red pepper. One has to marvel at the magic of nature. And carrots and onions are used as the final garnish. Sprinkle with pepper, and a pot of delicious beef stew is officially served. Riven sits on the bed and happily tastes it. The rich aroma of meat mixed with the sweetness of vegetables fills the cabin. Every bite is the ultimate comfort for his exhausted body. The wind and snow roar outside the window, beating against the pine bark roof, making a rustling sound. But that sound is no longer terrifying, and instead becomes the best white noise, highlighting the absolute safety and comfort inside. After eating and drinking his fill, he curls up on the big bed. The fire flickers low. Light and shadow sway on the mossy wall. Exhaustion fades away like the tide, and sleepiness gradually washes over him.